everyone! Today we've got another Bible story, and it's going to be from 1 Samuel 17, and it's going to be about, can you guess? David and Goliath. So I am really excited to tell you this Bible story. So let's get started. The Bible says, now the Philistines gathered together their armies to battle. And so over here we have the Philistines' tents, and they're ready to do battle. And the Bible also says, and Saul and the men of Israel were gathered together. So over here we have the Israelites, and those were God's people. Now the Israelites had God on their side, so they shouldn't have been afraid. But they were very, very afraid. They had the Philistines and the whole army of Philistines over here. And they were making fun of God's people, saying, God's not real. God won't protect you. You're nobody. And the Israelites were on this side, and they were so scared because the Philistines were mighty and powerful. And they had a warrior, a super warrior named Goliath. Goliath was over 9 feet tall. He was a giant with a mighty sword, a mighty shield, spear, and helmet. His armor was very heavy, but it was like a feather to Goliath. He was so strong. The Israelites kept running back into their tents, saying, we can't defeat him. There's no way someone can defeat Goliath. While the Israelites were here doing battle with the Philistines, there was a shepherd boy. Now this shepherd boy's name was David, and David was taking care of his father's sheep. David always obeyed God, and many a times he had taken care of his sheep and protected them from bears and lions. He was very brave, but he knew that God protected him. Well, David's brothers were some of the Israelites who were fighting the Philistines. So, David's father came and said, please, David, will you take this bread and cheese and take it to your brothers? They're fighting the Philistines, and I want to make sure they're okay. And David said, oh, yes, sir. I'll find someone to take care of the sheep, and I'll take this to my brothers right now. So David takes the bread and cheese, and he goes to see if his brothers are okay in the war. So we're back here with the Israelites and the Philistines. And David shows up. And while David is there taking care of his brothers, Goliath comes out. And he is angry. He wants someone to come and fight him. And he was yelling at the Israelites. And David said, who is this Philistine that defies the armies of God? And all the Israelites said, this is Goliath. Nobody can fight against him. And David said, we can. We have God on our side. Who is this Philistine? He can't stand against us. Not when God's on our side. And guess what? Saul, the king of Israel, he heard about this boy, David, who said we could defeat Goliath. And he's like, I have to talk to this boy. Bring him to me. So Saul has David come into his tent, and he said, do you think you can defeat this Goliath? And David said, thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine. And Saul said to David, thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth, and he a man of war from his youth. And David said unto Saul, thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of my flock. And I went out after him, and smote him, and delivered it out of his mouth. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them. So David was saying, God help me defeat a bear and a lion, and he will help me defeat Goliath. Saul said, if you're going to go out and defeat this Goliath, you need armor. So Saul tried to put his armor on David, but it was way too big. And David said, no, Saul, no, I don't need your armor. I have God, and he has given me all I need with my sling, the same thing I used to defeat the bear and the lion. David goes to the brook, and he picks out 5 smooth stones. And he takes them out of the brook, and he takes his sling, and he gets ready to go defeat Goliath because he has God on his side. He takes his sling and 5 smooth stones. David said, the Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. And Saul said unto David, go, and the Lord be with thee. So Goliath comes out to the valley, and he sees that the Israelites have sent a boy to defeat him. And he laughs, and he says, this boy can't defeat me. How dare you send out a little boy against a warrior like me? Then David tells the Philistine, thou comest to me with a sword and a spear and with a shield. But I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. This day will the Lord deliver thee into my hand. So David swings his sling around, and he swings it so fast, and then he lets the rock go, and the rock goes flying and hits Goliath in the forehead, and he falls down. Goliath is defeated. God worked a miracle, and a little boy with faith in God was able to defeat Goliath and save all of the Israelites from the Philistines. All of those Philistines ran away. Their champion was defeated, and they fled the country. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful story about a little boy named David who trusted in God, who knew that God would take care of him and had great faith. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, everyone.